Hello guys, welcome to the mathematics lesson. In today's lesson, we'll be looking at the equations. All right, we'll be looking at the equations. All right, so what is an equation? So we define an equation as a mathematical statement that two algebraic expressions are equal. So in other words, an equation is an algebraic expression with an equal sign. For instance, here, if we have x plus 2 equals 0, this one becomes an algebraic, or this one becomes an equation, because we have an algebraic expression, this one, and an equal sign in it. This one also, y plus 6 equals 2. This one as well becomes an equation because we have an algebraic expression here and an equal sign in it. And then we have also here y plus 6 equals 8. This as well becomes an equation because we have an algebraic expression with the equal sign in it. So in short, we are saying an equation tells us that the terms on the left side of the equal sign are equal to the terms on the right side of the equal sign. So in this equation, as you can see, it says what is on the left side is equal to what is on the right side. That is what equations are all about. All right, so we are saying these equations have been in existence way back even in grade 1 when we were doing mathematics. So in grade 1, this expression here was represented by this because x here stands for an unknown. So it was represented by an empty box plus here 2 equals 0. So that's what they used to express these equations in grade 1 or 2, if you remember very well. But I remember very well doing this in grade 2 somewhere there. So since x stands for an unknown, equally this box here stands for an unknown. So we ask ourselves, if what an equation means what is on the left side of the equal sign is equal to what is on the right side of the equal sign, then for us to get 0 here on the left side as well, it means, or rather for this expression here to give us 0, it means 2 must subtract 2 for us to get 0. So it means here there's minus 2 here. All right, so in this box there's minus 2 plus 2 here is what will give us 0. All right, so this simply means in this unknown expression where we have x as an unknown in this equation, x here stands for the value of negative 2. All right, equally here where we have y plus 6 equals 2. So y here stands for a number which is not yet known. So it is an unknown variable y here. So in grade 1, it would be represented by an empty box plus 6 equals 2. All right. So now here we would ask ourselves, since an equation says what is this side is also equal to this side, we would ask ourselves, what should we do to 6 in order to get 4? I mean to get 2. So it means we subtract 4 from 6 in order to get what? 2. All right. So now you subtract 6 in order to get, you subtract 4 in order to get 2. So it means here in our empty boxes minus 4, then plus 6 equals 2. So it means y here stands for negative 4. Equally here, this y here is represented by an empty box plus 6 equals 8. Then what should we do to 6 in order to get 8? We add 2. So it means there's 2 in this box. So that 2 plus 6 is equal to 8. So it means y here stands for what? For 2. This is how basically we were given these equations in grade 1 or 2 somewhere there. But as we grow, those boxes are represented now by variables, which we call unknown variables. All right. So now what we are saying here is that equations deals with solving for the unknown variables. So in equation, we solve for the unknown variables. That's what we do in equations. We solve for the unknown variables, like these ones which are not known are what we do in equations. So for instance, the unknown variables in the above equations are x and y. So x here wasn't known, here y wasn't known, and also here y wasn't known. So we solve these equations by collecting like terms. Not the way we did here, the grade 1 formula, but as you grow up now, we solve these equations by collecting like terms together to remain only with the unknown variables on the left side of the equations. So like here, we would collect like terms, like we have a number here and a number here, so the like terms which are numbers would move to the right side of the equation. Then the unknown terms or variables would remain on the left side of the equation. That's how we would solve, or that's how we solve now equations. So let's see how we can solve these using collection of like terms together, so that you remain with the unknown on the left side and then the numbers must move on the right side. So like in this one, we would know that these two should go here in order to remain with x on the right side. So since between x and 2 there is plus, we cannot add this. So this one is a number and this one 0 is a number. So 2 would cross to the right side so that we remain with only x here. So say x is equal to 0. So when 2 crosses to the right side of the equal sign, then it turns into a negative 2 like that. Then from there you say x is equal to, then you say 0 minus 2. So 0 cannot subtract negative 2, so we remain with negative 2, all right, as our answer, just as we found previously. So here also, in solving this one as well, you check y plus 6 is equal to 2. So you realize that 6 and 2 are like terms, and we said we should collect like terms together, and the numbers must be on the right side of the equal sign, while letters or variables which are not known must remain on the left side of the equal sign. So this 6 must cross so that we remain with y is equal to, so 2, then since 6 is positive, when it crosses it becomes negative 6. Then we'll say y is equal to, then in such a situation what we do, where we have a smaller number positive and a bigger number negative, when it's like you are subtracting 2 minus 6. So in such a case, you just do the opposite. The bigger number subtract the smaller number, but the answer must contain the sign which is attached to the bigger number. So in this case, you say 6 minus 2, you get 4. Now, since 6 has a minus, even that form must have a minus. So you have minus 4. Then here you have y plus 6 is equal to 8. So y plus 6 is equal to 8. You realize that 8 and 6 and 8 are numbers, so must be collected together. So 6 must move to the right side of the equal sign. We remain with y on the left side. So have y is equal to 8. So 6, when it crosses, it becomes negative because it is positive. So it becomes negative. Then from here, what you are going to do, you say y is equal to, so this one is simple, 8 minus 6, you get 2. So you see, these are the answers we found previously as well when we solved using the grade 1 or grade 2 format or method. So this is how we solve equations now at this level. So we are saying such equations are called linear equations in one variable because they only contain one unknown variable. So here you see there's only one unknown variable y, here I mean x, here unknown variable y, here also unknown variable y. So such equations are known as linear equations in one variable. So let's move and look at more complex ones here. So we have these examples here where we are saying more examples of equations in one variable are, we have this one, 2x minus 1 is equal to x plus 3. Then we have 7 open brackets, x plus 3 close brackets, minus 2 open brackets, x minus 4 close brackets is equal to 4. Then we have also 3 over 2x minus 1 over x is equal to 1 over 4. Then D we have x minus 5 over 2 minus 3x plus 1 over 5 equals minus 3. Then E we have x plus 13 equals 2x plus 5. F we have 1 over y plus 3 is equal to 3 over y plus 1. So let's solve some of them here so that you see how you should do solve these equations when you encounter them in an exam. So let's start with A. So you realize that we have 2x minus 1 equals x plus 3. So we have 2x. This is a term with x. Then on the right side, we have also x here. So these are what are like terms. 2x and x are like terms. And since we are solving these equations, it means that the known variables must be on the same side, while the unknown variables must be on the left side. So we have 2x minus 1 is equal to x plus 3. So since we are solving, it means you find for the unknown the letter. So the letters must be on the left side, while numbers on the right side. So this number will follow the number and this letter will follow the letter here. So we have 2x. This x, when it crosses this side, since it is positive, it becomes negative x. Then equal sign here. Then we'll have 3. When this one crosses here, since it is negative, when it crosses, it becomes positive 1. All right? So here, it is easy. We'll say 2x minus x will remain with x equals. Then 3 plus 1 will have 4. Then we would have solved this equation. Simple as that. So let's look at equation B here, which says 7 open brackets x plus 3 close brackets minus 2 open brackets x minus 4 close brackets equals 4. So in this equation, before we can start solving it, we must first clear out the brackets. So we must multiply 7 with everything in the brackets. So 7 times x, it will be 7x. Then 7 again times what? Times, we'll say plus, then 7 times 3, which will be 21. Then this is done. Then here we'll say negative 2 times x, which will be negative 2x. Then we'll say also that negative 2x, negative 2 times negative 4. So negative will give us positive. Then 2 times 4 will give us 8. So we'll have positive 8. So we have cleared out the brackets now equals to 4. So from here now, we are going to collect like terms together. So we have 4 here on the right side. And in solving equation, we must make sure that numbers on the right, letters on the left. That you should do, no. And since we are having just plus and minus here, we'll just cross the numbers on the right side. So this 21 will cross and also 8 will cross. So when these crosses, will remain with 7x and will remain with also minus 2x equals 4. Then this 21, when it crosses, since it is positive, it becomes negative 21. And this positive 8, when it crosses, it becomes negative 8. Then from here, what we are going to do, it is now to add or subtract these because they are like terms. So here we'll say 7x minus 2x. Imagine you have 7 x's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you have also 2 x's. So you say 7x minus 2x, you remain with what? 5x equals. So here it is as good as saying 2 minus 21 minus 8, which will give you negative 21. All right, so here now, since between this 5 and x, since we want to remain with x, between 5 and x, there is multiplication here. Then we need to divide to get rid of this 5. So we'll say divided by 5 divided by 5. So this 5 and this 5 will cancel. Then we'll remain with x is equal to, then you'll say 5 into 25, it will be 5. Since we have a negative here, we'll say negative 5. So this one is solved as well like this. So let's go to C. C says 3 over 2x minus 1 over x is equal to 1 over 4. So since this is a fraction on the left side of the equal sign, and this fraction contains x and this fraction also contains x, first of all, we must make this fraction to be single. That's when we'll be able to solve for x in this equation. So for us to express this one as a single fraction, we must first find or look for a common denominator in which 2x and x can go without giving a remainder. In this case, it is 2x. 2x can go into 2x itself once. And then x can go into 2x how many times? Twice. So we'll say the common denominator is 2x. Now we'll start now simplifying. So we'll say 2x into 2x. How many times? 1. 1 times this 3 above here, it will be 3. Then minus will drop here. Then we'll say x into 2x. It will be 2 times. So 2 times 1, it will be 2. Then equals, then half, or 1 over 4, I mean. Then from here, notice that what is here, the numerators here, are just numbers. And they are under the same division. So meaning they should be subtracted. So we'll say 3 minus 2, we'll have 1. Then over 2x equals 1 over 4. Then notice now that we have now a fraction. And this fraction which we have even our unknown variable that we want to find. So now we cannot solve it until we clear out the fraction, since it is now single fraction. So what we'll do is to introduce cross multiplication, where we'll cross the numerator on the left side with the denominator on the right side, and then the denominator on the left side with the numerator on the right side. So we'll say, now we'll start with this one having the variable we want to find. So we'll say 2x times 1, it will give us 2x. then equals will drop. Then we'll say 1 times 4, it will be 4. Now, we have remained with 2x is equal to 4. So, no fractions now. So, now we want to remain with x only. Now, between 2 and x, there's multiplication. So, we can get rid of these 2 by just dividing, because whenever there's a multiplication between what you want and what you don't want, to remove what you don't want, you should divide as long as there is multiplication. Those are the rules you need to master every time for you to be able to solve. People fail to solve mathematics because they forget all the rules involved at whatever stage of mathematics they are doing, because they don't practice. Mathematics is all about practice. So here I said you divide by 2, which is not needed. Then here, whatever you do on the left side must be done on the right side. Also here you divide by 2. So here 2 into 2 will go, you remain with x is equal to, then here you say 2 into 4, 2. So that will be your answer. So let's do D as well. So D, we have x minus 5 over 2 minus 3x plus 1 over 5 is equal to negative 3. Again, on the left side here, we have this fraction containing x and this fraction also containing x. So we must get rid of this fraction first by making it as a single fraction. So to make it as a single fraction, we must look for common denominators for these denominators here, 2 and 5. So a common denominator in which 2 and 5 can go is 10. So we'll underline here and say the common denominator is 10. Then we'll begin the process by saying 2 into 10, how many times? 5. 5 times what is here on top of these 2. So we'll say 5 times what is here. So you put this in brackets because 5 must multiply each of these terms inside the brackets. Then you get your minus here. Then you say 5 into 10. How many times? 2. 2 times again this term here. So you say 2 times this term, put it in brackets, equals negative 3. Then you need to clear out the brackets. So you say over 10. You clear out the brackets by multiplying 5 with everything inside the bracket. So say 5 times x, 5x. Then 5 times minus 5, which will be minus 25. Then you come here, negative 2 times 3x. It will be negative 6x. Then negative 2 times 1. It will be negative 2. Equals negative 3. So we have cleared out. Now you notice here we have negative 2 and negative 25. Since they are numbers, some of you might be tempted in your errors to shift this one here and this one. No. Since they are still under the this division line here, you cannot do that. So you just add them as they are. You collect like terms. So you say over 10. So here you have 5x. Its like terms is this one minus 6x. So you can't change the sign because you are not crossing any equal sign here. Some of you may be tempted to change, since it has come here, it should be negative. No, it only changes sign when it is crossing the equal sign. So this one you get as it is negative 25. Then here negative 2 equals 3. Now you start subtracting. 5x minus 6x. It is as good as saying 6x minus x. You remain with x. Then since negative 6 or 6x has got a negative, then that x you have remained with must have a negative. So you say over 10, then you say negative x. Then here, negative 25 minus negative 2. So since these two numbers have got both negatives, it means you should add them and that final answer must have the sign these two have. These two have negative, so it is good as saying 25 plus 2, which will be 27. Then you put negative to 27 because these two have negative. So you say negative 27, then equals negative 3. Now, these can no longer be simplified further. These x and 27, they are not like terms. So now, what you are going to do here is now to remove the fraction. So how do you remove this fraction? By saying over 1, putting this one as a fraction, and then multiplying what is on the denominator here on the numerator with the denominator here, and what is on the denominator with the numerator here. So you say negative x minus 27 times 1. You have the same negative x minus 27 equals 10 times negative 30. You have negative 3, sorry. You have negative 30. All right, then you collect now like terms here. Since you have gotten rid of the division, now you can collect the like terms. So what you are going to do now, this is a number and this one, so this one will cross. So when this one crosses, you remain with negative x is equal to negative 30. This negative 27, when it crosses now, it will become positive 27. So you say negative x is equal to, so here you have different signs. This one negative, this one positive. So since you have different signs, so it is as good as saying the bigger one with a minus must subtract the smaller one with a plus. So you say 30 minus 27, which will be 3. And 30, since have got a minus, then that 3 should have minus. So you have minus 3. Then x here you have solved, but x shouldn't have a negative. So to clear out the negative, either you divide this side by negative and this side, or you multiply everything like this with a negative 1. So that in negative times negative, it will be positive, equals, then this negative times this negative again, it will be positive. So you have a 3 as your answer. So this is how you are supposed to solve equations. So we have these for practice here. You have these which you can practice at home so that you are able also to feel and learn how to solve algebraic equations. So we have come to the end of this lesson. As for now, bye.